guys, and welcome viewers, and hi to Doris. It's been,
Hello, everyone.
it's not the best of times I was hoping to get a positive result and, wind up my Saturday night with a wonderful result because we were all saying in the preview, saying, hey, Villarreal are so loose in the back, they're going to go score goals easily. At the same time, we were also skeptical of our ability in the back line to deal with their attacking. And that's what happened this game. Like they were relentless. And what are your thoughts, Doris? How do you feel?
Yeah, what a game. Most of the game we were suffering, as they say. Yeah, Villarreal definitely had a better game than us, and our defense was atrocious. Uh, I wish I can unsee today's game, but unfortunately, that's not possible. Some really bad performances from Alaba, especially in the second half, and especially after he gave the penalty. Even that's a different topic, but after that, he seemed very shaky. He didn't intercept balls that maybe he should have. He gave out a few throw-ins, so not a good performance from him. On the other side, we had Militao playing at right back. Um People were wondering if we were gonna play Vasquez, which was, always an option, but Ancelotti wanted more strength in the defense, which backfired very bad. But I don't know. We expected all, I think, more from our players, and it's easy to blame players now, but you know, our defense was probably our worst part, but other parts of our team were probably somewhere close to their performance.
Hmm.
What do you say?
I mean, always with defeats like this, we tend to, as Madridistas, we're always so used to winning games. We always point the finger at these players, and I feel like in this particular game, we actually can't do that because it was a systemic failure all around the pitch. We can't just blame one person, and if we could maybe say, hey, this player had a good game, it would be Courtois as usual. But no other player
Yeah,
actually
definitely.
actually could do anything else. But actually, like while you were going on your depressing rant, I saw Rahul in the comments saying, "Madrid, see Opa Villarreal." Well, thanks for kicking us when we're down, Rahul. But yeah, you're welcome to stay in the chat. Uh,
Yeah, thank you.
No, but before we like dissect major parts of the game, huge props to Villarreal because they played really good as tight as
Definitely, yes.
tight as a unit. Their right backs had like really good games. They didn't have Vinny have a sniff, and even if Vinny had a sniff, he was always pressured by players, so he couldn't really get a clean shot through, except maybe one time in the first half. And so yeah, their performance speaks for itself. Villarreal climbed to fifth position in La Liga, right under Atletico, who will face Barca again soon. Um, but just looking at this game, Doris, like, do you feel like the World Cup blues are still going on with the team? And then why didn't that happen for Villarreal?
Definitely. The commentator was saying how they had a difficult time, Villarreal, before World Cup, and now they're feeling pretty good. Which I don't know, they have won quite a few games lately. Um, but in our team, I was thinking just before Valverde, ever since he came back from the World Cup, like out of all the players that I could pick out, I would probably pick him just because of the form he was in before the World Cup. Like almost every game he would score, and lately he was, but it doesn't mean that he's playing bad. But yeah, we didn't need the World Cup. That's definitely, what I'm gonna say. But it's difficult to sometimes compare. We had quite a few players in playing in the World Cup, and not all teams have that. And that's a disadvantage to us. But in some teams, they have a lot of players that played in the World Cup, and I think the standards should be the same. Because I don't know. The You can always count on, for example, Modric to be good even after that. I mean, after the last World Cup, he wasn't the best, but this time I see that Ancelotti in the last two games he took him off pretty quick. I don't know if it's still the World Cup or what it is, but maybe it's just tactics. But for example, Chouameni and Camavinga, uh, he has been playing really well. Like he's one of our bright spots, and even in the cup, he was really good. And I think the players that showed how good they are in the World Cup stayed good, but the other ones just, it will take time. It will take time, I think.
Yeah, like you said, Villarreal, you have to remember, they didn't have a lot of players going into the World Cup. So how they kept fresh was they played a lot of friendlies. They faced Napoli, they faced Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, Aston Villa. So and they won all of those games. So they're coming into this game like even though
Exactly.
it's like a new coach, Kike Setien taking over for Emery. They've had a lot of practice to get things right, to get the tactics right.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's the thing, they're definitely more fresher than us, and it kind of showed on the pitch. We tried a lot, we tried a few things differently to approach this game, but it just didn't work out. Like you mentioned, the Militao experiment just went all wrong. Uh, our press was very erratic. We just couldn't get the ball off of them. Their midfield played really, really well, just to say.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Vasquez was good when he replaced Militao in that
uh,
position, but you can expect that from the Lord.
Yeah, I would say since we already had Valverde on the wings to cover, we could have started Vasquez, I feel. But Ancelotti must have
Mm,
seen something with Vasquez saying, "Hey, Yeremy Pino or these guys, Baena could cause problems." And to be fair, they did. Like even with Militao, we fell so short of our defensive cover. Our press wasn't working. A lot of things went wrong. So just when I started the game, I started taking notes just to prepare for this post match. But then I realized there is no point. Like it's minute after minute of negative comments about players. That's why I just stopped in between. Uh,
yeah.
so I would say let's start from the first half. From the first few minutes, we were under heavy pressure. Did you see a way out of that, especially in the first half?
Well, I missed the first 15 minutes because I thought the game started at 4:30, but it was at 4:15. But yeah, as soon as I came on, I think Courtois saved a shot or something. He went to a bar or something like that. But in the first like 5 or 10 minutes, we had a pretty good spell, and I was thinking, oh, nice, we were playing pretty good. Boy, was I wrong. Yeah, it only went after that, downhill. But yeah, I would actually like to talk about our attack because in the last two games, for example, Karim, how do you feel about his performances?
Well, I can't speak for the first half. I would say like uh, I'm used to seeing this version of Karim for this season right now. Because in the second half, he had like a pretty much an open net, and then it was just defenders covering. There was no goalkeeper inside. But last season's Karim would have put that goal in, no doubt. But
Yeah.
this season, like I have very little expectations of him. I'm not sure if it's because of fatigue or, we have been overplaying him for so many seasons now, and then he is not getting any younger. But I feel like it's just a matter of time and motivation. Like once those Champions League games kick in, and I hope we regain our format by then. But I feel like we are gonna see the old Karim back. But he just hasn't been able to keep this up consistently. Like even if he scores, it's like late towards the second half when all the teams are tired, or if it's penalties, which Vinny wins all the time. So yeah, that's
Mm.
been Karim's thing. Like, do you feel like his performances have been improving of late, or has it been going?
No, I was just mentioning him mostly for the fact that, you know, we see this kind of form every once in a while. Sometimes it lasts a bit longer, sometimes, it's short. I hope this is one of those. Um, it's not that he's playing bad, but the passes that worked last season just don't work anymore, and it just seems like they don't even believe it. Like a lot of the energy is not there, and it feels like we're just criticizing them over and over. It's just one game. But it's not like even when we win games, it's usually not very confidently, and that speaks a lot. We have one of the best strikers, if not the best striker in the world, one of the best wingers in the world, and still we're not convincing when we win. And I don't know if it's fair to like single out Vinicius, Karim, Rodrigo, or Asensio even, but something is not clicking like it used to. And I just hope that uh, he gets back to it, because we have many many games in the next 2 months or
Yeah, like
1.5 months.
and these games are a nightmare. Like we face Real Sociedad, and you have to remember, like we are going to face Villarreal again soon in the round of 16 of the Copa del Rey. So I have like very little confidence that our like second team can pull off a win against them. But yeah, let's see. Um,
Mm.
like speaking about Villarreal, like we haven't won away at Villarreal since 2017. It's always been a draw. It's always been like a tough competition. And I was hoping like this
Yeah,
season, like since they have a change of coach or whatnot, they have a change of style, like it would be easier to beat them, but we just couldn't make it past their defense, Like, did you feel like, especially their right back, Foyt and Raul Albiol, Pau Torres, they all had a good game, or how do you read into it?
yeah, they had a really good game. Like uh fair enough, like they had a really good game, and the whole team played well. They really exposed our defense, because any team that plays like this will beat us, and we've seen this happen before. It's not the first time. And all credit to them, especially Foilt, or how do you
Yeah, it's Foyt.
say it? Like props to him. Like Vinicius is not easy to defend, and yeah, like and he even got out without a yellow, if I'm correct.
I think he
Like
got a yellow like towards the end of the game, like in the
he
96th minute
did,
or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. That just proves my point, even more, because what a game! Like they they're not the kind of team that will you know, challenge for first place or second in the league. But goddamn, do they play well when they play against us? And even before 2017, I think I saw a stat that we only won three times in the, I don't know, since 2014 or something like that, away, like at their
Yeah,
stadium, which is an interesting stat for Villarreal.
absolutely. They've been a wall against us and a thorn against us. And however, like they always find a way to lose against Barcelona. Uh, Anyways,
Of
yeah,
course.
this was an early kickoff, and with these early kickoffs, we always say, hey, the first half is going to be lethargic. It's going to take like a goal or two to, wake our players up and, play really well in the second half. But I feel like in this game, like
Mm.
we were very close to scoring maybe in the first half, in a couple of chances, in a few breakaways, but our attack was just too rusty, or like they couldn't just pull off the final pass or the final finish. Did you see it the same way, or do you feel like we had a way better second half?
For a few minutes there, yeah. I mean, in comparison to first half, definitely, but in second half we were much better. But after their penalty, we woke up for a few minutes, and there was some attack. Cannot remember which one it was. um but yeah, we woke up there, and again nothing happened, and it was all Villarreal after that, all on them.
Absolutely. Although, did you feel like because we were getting overrun, like it's always our tendency to blame the midfield, saying, "Hey, these guys can't run very well. It's because of that we got overrun." But do you feel it was that, or it is because of our press as a whole, like failing at the top? So Karim would go press, Vinny would join him, and then that would leave like totally a blank space behind them. And then these Villarreal players, especially Coquelin and Parejo, they know exactly where to position themselves to, play the right pass in. And I don't remember instance where they actually, misplace a pass, especially Parejo. Like he had a massive game today.
Yeah, pretty much. Even the goalkeeper was, really calm, like really calm on the ball. And not to say that Tibor wasn't, but that just showed you like they were ready, and we weren't. That's pretty much it. And like I said, like it's easy to point fingers. It is just one game after all, and I hope that that this doesn't continue. But there's no point in pointing fingers, especially when the entire team didn't work. Like if it was like individual mistakes, like over and over, like one player, of course it happened. Like some player can have a really shitty game, but I don't think it's you know
Down to the
the
a single
we
player. Mm,
yeah, the at least for this game, because the entire team just wasn't working. Like I cannot name a single player that had a good game. Like they all had like some had like an all right game, but no one had a good game. And I hope it's just like, this time. And even for Alaba and his penalty, like, which do you think it was a penalty? That's the first one I'm gonna ask you.
Um,
The
okay,
Alaba.
now would be a good time to like say, hey, both penalties were pretty sus. The penalty that we received, like it was like a really tight call. We didn't even see it in real time. That we didn't even know that was a handball that a referee was thinking about.
I agree. Yeah.
And still it was given, and then a few moments later it was Alaba doing dumb Alaba stuff. But it was coming. We were always going to concede after that. It looked like Villarreal should have almost finished maybe three or four of their chances because they had so many chances this game, and it is just one of those games. But to your point about saying, hey, we can't actually go and blame one or two players. You're right. But like when Mendy does these types of passes, as a team, you can't do much to defend those things. Like it's probably a sure goal. If it's not a goal, it's probably the opponent's fault that they didn't score.
Yeah, you said it all there, pretty much. But for the penalties, would just like to say, the commentator at least was saying that they had to follow the rules for the first penalty, even though it was very soft. But but they said rules are rules. Then why not check VR or follow the rules for the second one? Like at least question it, But I just wanted to say that and
Oh, so you're saying
point it out.
the
Yeah,
Alaba pen wasn't legit because I feel like okay, to his defense, he was falling down, but it clearly did hit his
yeah,
hand. It did probably stop
it
a
did.
shot on target.
It did. Yeah.
So yeah, I have no complaints about the pen.
Um.
It is just what happens, man.
Yeah.
So
'Cause
I guess
I actually for the first one, VR was checking like the wrong thing. Like they were yelling for the handball from the
Ben's
shot
shot,
from Karim.
Benzema, yeah.
Yeah, but then traced back and went to the handball that no one even saw. And I don't think Vinicius was even yelling for that, but for the Benz shot. But whatever,
Yeah,
it's fun.
that
You
is so
have
funny.
to,
You have to imagine, Vinny shouts for every single small thing,
yeah.
and then if he didn't see the handball, I, it's just a miracle that VAR even found it. Uh, but
Yeah,
that
I
was a
mean,
point. That was a point in the second half where we really tried to push, and that was a pretty good ball from Tchouaméni to try to create a chance for Vinny. Speaking of Xiaomeni,
mm,
do you feel like he had an okay game? He's coming back into form after the World Cup, or was it he went completely missing for the midfield?
I think it's been all right, and not the greatest, but he's been solid. Like he is young, not Kamavinga young, but he is young. He's what, like 24, right?
24.
22, 24. Um, but yeah, it it is still his first season in Madrid. It's he played in the final of the World Cup, or even played in the World Cup to begin with. That's a lot of stress, and for Kamavinga too. And I would say they're handling it pretty well. Camavinga seems to, always take charge when he comes on. He doesn't get that many minutes for obvious reasons. But yeah, especially Kamavinga, I would say, has been pretty good. Um, and almost every time he comes on, we usually score a goal. So yeah, I would actually say that they've been pretty good. And in the World Cup, like people would say that Vega wasn't particularly good, but people were saying also that Trump Many was good, even though he had a few blunders in the final and the penalty and all that. But yeah, our French players are actually pretty good. Like I wouldn't point them out, but Vinicius and Rodrigo, that's a different story, and I don't think it's that easy that we blame it on the World Cup, because that's the thing with Vinicius and Rodrigo and Karim. When something doesn't work, they all don't work. Like very rarely do we see, someone who really take charge. We do see like some special moments when one of them, has a really good game, but very rarely do we really see someone take charge like Karim, did. I mean, for Vinicius and Rodrigo.
Yeah, I feel like that's been a theme all season. Like we aren't set like Carlo Ancelotti like just has one plan, probably play Vinny through and get try to get him one on one with the defender. Probably he gets a cut back to Karim or to an oncoming midfielder. Like that's been the plan. But this game, Villarreal was so solid. Like even Vinny was shut out. He couldn't perform any sort of dribbles, but he still kind of created a few chances, let's say. And I feel like players, I mean, as fans, we expect so much of Vinny now that hey, Vinny, once he gets a ball, we expect him to dribble past four players and actually score. And he actually does the half of it at least. He manages to dribble past two or three players, and with the shots, it's more of like a shoot or miss kind of things. Even now, like on the first half, like that was probably our best match chance of the match so far. Like, do you remember like Karim? It was a cross from Valverde, I guess, and then Karim brought it down and passed it to Vinny, who shot it at the goalkeeper.
Oh right. Oh man. That no words for that one. That was flashbacks all over. But yeah, that should have been a simple goal, and if we had more chances, maybe I wouldn't regret it as much. But yeah, that was a pretty bad shot. But this game has been really depressing, and whoever is watching this, I'm really sorry for you. Like, usually we're a bit more happy because we win, but life is life. There's ups and downs. um, yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
like
know, and it
the you know why Doris it's so depressing. Like it's there are no positives to take from this game except for maybe quarter, but
no,
that's like every game, and it just feels like
exactly.
we're gonna be worried for the next game because we don't see a way out of it. Our tactics aren't changing that much in the second half of the season, and Barcelona are being Barcelona. Like even though they don't have Lewandowski, they are still bagging in the goals. They're still playing at a high level, and I just hope like we get out of this rut. Um, but yeah, like I mean, we discussed all the both of the penalties. We discussed the Mendy mispass and then who was it that scored the goal? It was Jeremy Pino who scored the goal. Courtois could have maybe stopped it if he got a stronger hand on it, but it was hard, and then Mendy had it took a deflection off of Mendy and it went in. Do you feel like Mendy does take a lot of these risks, and then until now it hasn't really affected us? Usually the opponent makes a mistake and then we manage to get the ball back somehow, but this time we got punished.
Definitely. I don't know what exactly the game plan for this game was. I mean, the biggest things we can look at is probably Militao playing at right back. Vasquez, when he came on, he was really good, and retrospectively, it's very simple to say maybe he would have been better or whatever, but actually uh, this was entirely on the team, just not enough creativity, speed, or anything like that. I wouldn't say like the battery was shut off because it wasn't. Like they still played a game. It was just bad, and that's the way it is. And yeah, what a match to end my holidays.
Okay.
I I really hoped for a win. It's it was a nice Saturday afternoon game, and damn it, it's
These
not.
days, well, these days happen to us.
It's
We just
not
have to.
that. Yeah,
Well, but
yeah.
yeah, like you said, like we just had a all-around terrible game. But did you feel a little bit better after the subs came on? What did you think about Ancelotti's subs actually?
Oh, yeah. Well, I liked all of them. like all of them were good, and maybe some were, maybe some should have come on a bit sooner. And for example, Asensio was subbed on for from Valverde, um, and I was thinking like Valverde doesn't shoot anymore for some reason. If you haven't noticed, and we really missed, someone shooting at the goal. Like it's not that we didn't have. It's not that people were not shooting enough. Like we didn't even create enough chances to be in that position. But I don't know. I think Valverde stayed on for too long, and it's difficult to say, that Valverde should have been subbed off because he's so good. He just is. But like I said, it's always so easy to say maybe this player should have been on or not. Because even for Asensio, it's not like he scores all the time and every goal. Like, come on. But still, like, if we look back, maybe it should have been better. But it is what it is.
Hmm. I feel like Valverde had a decent game. Like, he didn't create that much on the eye test. He wasn't involved in any of the really good chances we create. I mean, actually, he was involved. I think he has three key passes in this game. One in the first half was a cross, and then if you remember in the second half, he had like a really good cross to Rodrigo, who couldn't pull it back
Mm-hmm.
for one of the attackers. So I feel like quietly he had a decent game, but like you said, like he just couldn't get into those positions where he's so dangerous and can actually put in a shot. And I feel like half of it is down to, the first half. How can you actually become a winger with Militao behind you? Like there was just no
True.
synchronization between them. Militao was
Yeah.
isolated, and then those crosses, man, I still have. I think I'm gonna get nightmares about those crosses. Uh, well,
What can I say? He even had a shot at the goal in his mind, maybe. Um, uh, but yeah, as I said before, like when Lucas came on, Militao, like a lot changed in our attack. It just wasn't enough. And
hmm,
yeah, like
yeah.
who was your man of the match?
I'm gonna say like one of the Villarreal players, but if it
No.
was a Real Madrid player, I would probably go with the obvious choice, Courtois. Otherwise, I just can't like point out any single outfield player. Maybe Vinny because he was the only one who actually got the penalty, who forced the penalty, and he did create a couple of chances for Karim Benzema. He had a shot on goal. At least he was trying things. So I'm gonna give like
Mm,
probably our best player.
Vinicius. Yeah, I mean, for my starting lineup, yeah, I would agree with that. Just because everything comes from him and everything comes from that side, and you need to pay respect to that because that is responsibility, and he always takes that, at least nowadays. He just gets very emotional, and I don't know, like not even with the fouls and diving and all that. I just like as time goes on during the game, it's like he gets in his own head and starts raging and sees just red everywhere. Like like not even with the fouls. Like he releases that anger when he's fouled, but something in him, like I don't know if it's the pressure. Like he did this last season, also. Like it just hasn't changed, and I would just hope that he would mature already, in that part of his personality. I would say, 'cause, everyone would I hope and I think hate to see him, keep going like this, because it turns down his performance, and even when he performs well, you still see him, like, why are you diving, why are you doing this, like, but still he's the only one that does anything, like, and he's still criticized a lot. I mean, fair enough, but he still gets a lot more eyes on him than maybe some other players would. like like I said, Vasquez was good, like, but he didn't start, so I'm not gonna say him. But you have to give it to Thibaut. Like, Thibaut did nothing wrong, and that's just for our team. And for their team, it's difficult to say anyone but the guys that scored, right?
Jeremy Pino was
But
good. Baena was a pain all day. This guy, who's that striker? Wait,
the Chukwueze,
not Chukwueze. Chukwueze,
Moreno.
like, yeah, Gerard Moreno, like, that man had a really good game. He held up the ball so well. He gave our defense a
Mhm.
lot to think about. So yeah, like all of those Villarreal players were good. Like, Chukwueze was maybe probably the most wasteful of their outfield players. But yeah, like I feel actually like a lot of regret because we didn't shoot from outside the box. Because you have to remember, this is Pepe Reina. It's not 2010 anymore. His reaction times would have probably slowed down. We should have taken advantage of that and put in a lot more long shots, but we just couldn't, get into those kind of positions. And well, yeah, like I guess we covered like most of the general trends, and we pointed a lot of fingers. And maybe like, do you see any sort of funny moments from this game? For me, like in the stoppage time, did you see Asensio's miss hit?
Asensio's what?
Asensio's miss hit, like from the corner. I guess Cruz passed it over to Asensio, like in the 92nd minute or something, and then Asensio
Huh?
completely missed the shot, and then you didn't catch that.
No, I think my stream or something. Like, my
Oh,
internet is oof, lately. My
oh, that
TV is a whole other story, but no, I'm gonna go rewatch that.
yeah.
I hope to get some laughter out of this. Man, it's so depressing, this podcast. After this loss, it's not like we lost, like, in the Champions League or something, but but something funny that happened. I
Yeah.
don't think that there was anything funny. There were mostly tears in this game.
Mm. And did you like catch the end of the game, like where Courtois had come up for the corner kick, and then Villarreal were breaking away with Danjuma. Courtois was stuck in their opposition box,
Oh
and
yeah,
like that was funny as well. Like I still
that
can't
was
get it
funny.
into my
Yeah, I
he
forgot them.
he just couldn't chip it into like the
You
other
know
Villarreal
what's even
player.
funnier?
What?
What's even funnier? Choosing to not uh
Pass
do
it to
a
the player.
fucking normal corner and just pass it. Like, you got people that's like 2 meters tall in the box. Why did he, like, we? Yes, I I'm okay.
Uh, No, but this is a completely normal Real Madrid thing to do, right? We always overcomplicate our set piece. Our free kicks, we take it well. We always mostly go for the shot. But our corners, man, like they're so strange. We always seem to like go for like an elaborate setup or pass it to the nearest player instead of, actually putting the ball in. And we have so many good players, especially with Rudiger and Militao on the pitch. Man, it just makes no sense sometimes. But it is what it is.
What goal was it when Courtois almost scored? But I think Carvajal put it in, or someone. It was from a corner. Do you remember that
Exactly.
game?
Yeah, yeah, it was a long
What
time
was
back.
that? I could put it. Yeah,
What?
for the
It was
life of me,
maybe
I couldn't
it was
remember what
maybe
that was.
Militao. I feel like it was Militao. No?
Lita.
not
No, I
stars.
mean it was um, doesn't
Long time
matter.
ago. Yeah.
I hoped that would have happened, but
Hmm.
I was kind of pissed that they decided to do a grounded pass for a last minute or last second shot.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And we have Sunit saying hi in the comments. He's has some post-match comments
hello,
from
Sunim.
yeah, and he has some post-match comments from Ancelotti. Ancelotti basically said Villarreal played better than us and deserved to win. That's it, and he just left.
I agree with him.
Yeah, and
That's
Militao
it.
started as the RB because Vasquez played 90 minutes versus Casarino and was tired. So yeah, we had pretty much no choice, and Ancelotti had to start Militao. So let's maybe forgive him for that. Like one more tidbit that Sunit said was this is the first time since 1948 that Real Madrid lose the first match of the year in two consecutive years. I feel like I also have one more stat like this for a long time. Like it's been 436 matches, and the first time in Real Madrid's 121-year history without a single Spanish player in the starting 11.
Who makes these stats, dude?
It's
Like who whose life it is to find these stats?
yeah,
That's
I mean,
that's so funny.
Doris, you have to like, what do you think these Twitter admins are doing? Like, they have to find something to tweet about,
Yeah,
and
true,
yeah,
true, true. But like for every game, there is a new stat that happened for your team.
yeah. The first stat was kind of like obviously okay, losing the first match like in 2 years, that's something, but that's been a trend. Like, we don't have like a strong Spanish score right now. It's all Barca players right now, and
Definitely.
do you feel like going forward that's going to be a bad strategy for us because Barca players are going to be so used to playing around each other. They're probably going to stay together as a team as well. And we have like multiple nationalities. We have a Brazilian core, we have a France core, and we have a couple of Germans as well.
Yeah, I will think it all the time. Like we really miss like real Spanish players in Madrid. Like we really do. And for the culture, for the country, for the city, for everything. And I don't know, like at the same time we are fortunate that we are able to afford these players from different countries. I still envy Barca for their Spanish players, and I envy them for Kunta mostly. I was
Yes.
really hoping, the to get a Spaniard and Kunta. Pau, sorry, Pau
Pau
Torres.
Torres. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, and they also have Gavi, Pedri, still some players that play to this day, like Busquets and Alba.
Dude, like those play Barca players, they don't even have to play well. They just have to be Spanish and they'll be called up for the Spanish team.
Yeah,
Uh,
pretty much. Yeah, I mean there is hope in our younger team, but time will tell. And we had really young players in our academy, and I hope that we get an another Donny, for example. That would be really nice.
Another
But yeah,
Danny with potential. Yeah.
that is the biggest reason I am against selling Asensio. Like one of the biggest reasons, and I'm really gonna miss Donny when he retires. And talking about him, like I don't think that there is much chance that he plays for much longer. Like I mean, that is a well-known fact that we do need a right back. And yeah, like there is less and less and less Spanish culture in the team. Like Ramos was like one of the biggest, pioneers for that.
And
His character
and
and all that.
true, man. even the Spanish players that we did sign, Odriozola, Vallejo, they just didn't work out. And right now we have pretty much no important Spanish players left on our squad.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, like, do you have any other thoughts about the game, or like maybe we can discuss like closing thoughts?
Not really. I think we said everything there is to say. If anything else we wanna say, it's probably gonna be depressing. So closing thoughts.
No, I'll bring
What do
some
you think?
hope to you, Doris, because Barca are going to be facing Atletico without
Atletico.
Lewandowski. Yeah. So I feel
Oh
like
yeah, for the 3 matches, right? Next 3 matches, and that's a good thing because they let him play for 1 match. They lost that match, and now he's banned for 3 matches. So
yeah,
hopefully that works out for us. Like we really could have grabbed 3 points here, and really hope for the best for the 3 match ban. But life is life. And Atletico, like we know how they play, and it will be a tough game. I'll definitely be watching it.
absolutely. There you go, viewers. Like, keep your fingers crossed. Hope that Barca loses, so we don't lose any more momentum than we can afford to, because they are going to be having some more easier matches, and us, we have a work cut out for us. Especially remembering that our Copa del Rey fixtures are not easy at all. Like, they're going to be facing Villarreal again. I am so not looking forward to that, but
Me neither.
yeah.
Me neither. And like, do you currently feel that like we have a real chance at a trophy this season? Like, if you had to pick out of the 3 main ones, which one do you think is the most realistic one? And keep in mind our record in the Copa del Rey
Um, so that was one of
and
my
the
New Year
fixtures that we have.
resolutions. Yeah, like we discussed the New Year resolution with me, Ritvik, and Farooq, and that was my resolution. Like, this was the year that we're gonna finally win the Copa del Rey, because I feel like La Liga is like there for Barcelona to lose, because Lewandowski, after he comes back, he's not gonna slow down. Like, he's not Karim Benzema. Like, Karim Benzema can have like an off couple of games or 3 or 4 games without scoring in La Liga. But Lewandowski just doesn't have that. If he plays, he's gonna probably score. That's the reason I feel like Barca are probably like favorites to win the La Liga right now. As for like the Champions League, I'm not sure, man. Like, anything can happen. Even last season, I said, hey, there is no chance of that we win the Champions League.
True, true.
Yeah, but let's see. To be fair, Liverpool are looking really shaky right now too. So we can probably get past the round of 16 and the quarterfinals, but after that, I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah, there you go, viewers. Like, we gave you some hope, we gave you some depression, but yeah,
We had to. We had to. Just
yeah,
a just that kind of day.
yeah. Stay strong, stay safe, Madridistas, and also, if you're new here, consider subscribing, sharing the pain so we can bring you more depressing podcasts. Also, if you look at our socials, we're on Instagram, Twitter, do give us a follow. We have some good content on there. We also have our friends at our Real Madrid committee who put in quality content. Please do consider following them as well. And Doris, Hala Madrid.
Ala Madrid.